basically the question of custody and access are obviously very relevant. And in order to understand how that works, you have to realize that for the courts, the interest of the child is paramount. It's not what's good for you, but it's what's good for your children. So as a general rule, and it's a rule of thumb, it's not specified in the law, the rule of thumb today is that a husband and wife should have shared custody and equal custody. But if the welfare of the child is such that that's not a good thing, then the judge will modify that in order to adjust it to the care of the child, interest of the child. So you may have, for example, very young children may be staying more often with one parent or the other, depending upon what their work relationship is and whether they spend more time at the house. There's all different issues about that. So the judge will look very carefully in the event that it's not appropriate for the child to be 50-50 with the mother and father. How much is it going to cost you? If you come in to see me and you're asking me, how much do I have to pay for child support? Well, child support has to do with the care of the children and what they were used to before the marriage. So, for example, if your children went to private school while you were married, and now you don't feel it, you have the financial resources to do it because it'll interfere with your holiday in Europe, the courts will look to try as much as possible to have the children continue with the lifestyle that they had. Obviously, there's only so much money and you can't always do it, but the court will consider that as a priority where possible. Even if one parent has the main access to the child at custody, the other parent has a right, an absolute right to be able to see their children and to have access. Again, there's no hard rules in how much or how often, but again, the courts look to have as much time as possible for the non-custodial parent. That's possible and in the welfare of the child. So we're always looking at the child. What's a child? Under the Divorce Act, a child doesn't become an adult at 18. I mean, you are an adult by law at 18, but the courts don't recognize, the law doesn't recognize that a child continues to be a child. So if your child, for example, is in university and 19 or 20 years old, the obligations that you have as a parent continue, and the need to pay support for that child also continues. The only difference is that when a child reaches a certain age of adulthood, they're expected to participate in the expenses that they have. So, for example, if a child or someone over 18 is in university and is spending 8 months or 9 months a year at university and has 3 to 4 months of holiday, they should be expected to participate in their care. So they should be looking for part-time jobs, even sometimes while they're going to school. If they can do that, they should do that as well. And the courts, in accordance to a lot of the case law, basically say that 2/3 of those earnings should be deducted from the amount that would need to be paid for custody. So that's how it works. So how do you know how much? Well, Quebec has a form which is called the Form for Determination of Child Support. And as such, it says if the wife earns so much and the husband earns so much, and they have so much access, then they punch out a number for you. And so that number is what was the minimum amount that's expected to be paid.